let's look at 8. Student needs to borrow $60,000, wow, to pay for a 5-year university course in medicine. Medicine is usually a good subject to study. And what would motivate the student to borrow to pay for the course? What would make the student want to borrow to pay for the course? So let's see, maybe higher earnings, right? You can guess. Sometimes you can just guess. The answers. Higher earnings. That will make you take a course. So A says debt must be repaid within the first 5 years of work. Gosh, no, that will not motivate students to borrow to pay for the course. And B, this is medicine, so further training must follow. That's not a motivator to take the course. That's becoming a doctor takes years and years, but that's not a motivation to take the course. Higher earnings are expected in the long run. That's the reason some people study medicine, because higher earnings are expected in the long run. So I think the answer is C, but let's take a look at D. Many skills gained on the course are non-transferable. In other words, what you learn in this course, you cannot use in other businesses or other markets, or you cannot use these skills. The skills are not transferable to other work. That's not a motivator. So 8, the answer must be C. That will motivate students to borrow more. Number 9. Well, that's a quick tongue twister. Let's see. The Congress of South African Trade Unions is the biggest union federation in South Africa, and it represents public sector workers. Sometimes public sector workers have a trade union. Let's see. It says in 2010 it had an increase in membership, and in the same year its bargaining strength declined. Oh, that's sad. What could explain this? Maybe more workers. The supply of workers increased. But let's see, there's an increase in government spending on welfare payments. That's possible, but that does not explain this, an increase in membership with less bargaining power. B says there was an increase in the country's unemployment rate. Yes, I think B is the answer, because I'm thinking, let's see, increase in membership. So here's the supply of labor, and here's wages, and here's quantity, and the supply of labor. Oh, and here's demand, which demand for labor is a derived demand. And when you have an increase in the country's unemployment rate, the supply curve shifts to the right. So wages fall, and when wages fall, the union's bargaining strength falls, declines. Let's see about C. There was an increase in the geographical mobility of labor. That would that increase? That would increase bargaining strength. So that will not decrease bargaining strength. And then there was D. D says there was an increase in union funds. So the union has more money, but that would not decrease your bargaining strength. You would imagine that might increase your bargaining strength. So the answer for 9 is B. And let's see about 10. Which worker is most likely to risk facing falling income towards the end of their career. A manager in an engineering firm, no, because they get paid for their human capital. They get paid for knowledge. At the end of your career, if you're a manual worker, then your income will probably fall. You cannot work as fast, and maybe you're not as strong. A supervisor in a retail firm can be old. They should be paid for, human capital. They should be paid for their knowledge. And an advertising worker or an office worker in an advertising firm won't earn less money if they're old. They probably have knowledge and experience. So answer for 10 also is B. About 11. What is the most likely reason why airline pilots earn more than agricultural workers? Because there's too many agricultural workers. Now, first answer is agricultural work is difficult, but then they should be paid more. But there's too many people who can do agricultural work. Pilots work regular hours. That's not a reason why airline pilots earn more. They earn more because of their skills. There's a surplus of agricultural workers. That's the reason. The answer for 11 is C. That's why airline pilots earn more than agricultural workers. There are many people who can work in agriculture. Maybe it's hard work but low skills. And D is not true. There is generally a shortage of pilots, and the supply curve is inelastic. It's not easy to make new pilots. Oh, so the answer for 11 is C.